Content warning. This episode of Back to the Story contains a scene of body horror and self-injury. The gore and details are not described in depth, but we understand the scene may be disturbing or triggering to some audience members. Klouse is light on the violence, but even we as players had strong visceral reactions to what was being described, so we wanted to offer this warning ahead of time. The scene's beginning and end are marked below in the timestamps with asterisks, so you can safely skip past if you choose to. If you would like to hear the nature of the scene described before deciding if this scene or episode is right for you, keep listening. But if you prefer to avoid spoilers, you can go ahead and start the episode with the timestamp indicated in the episode's description. In the indicated scene, Ellory chooses to sacrifice her left eye in exchange for knowledge. She uses a knife to accomplish this, and afterwards a serpent manifests out of the wound. There is description of some of the pain and sensation, but again, most of the gore is not thoroughly described. We encourage all listeners to use their personal discretion and urge you to take care of yourself, whether that means joining us on the journey or opting out and revisiting us next week. Thank you.
Welcome to this episode of Back to the Story, where friends come together to play Dungeons & Dragons. I'll be your DM, Klouse. Let's get started.
When you see God's rest surrounded by armies, then know that his desolation has come near.
It is my destiny, not yours.
Really, it doesn't fucking matter if I'm ready or not. I have to deal with the end of the world, and I'm not ready for that.
The reason why any of us are enough for anything is because we have each other.
Everyone can change, not everyone will, but everyone can.
And every day has been beautiful since.
For these are the days of vengeance, to fulfill all that is written.
Yes, I know we all want to compare our god's dick sizes right now.
My glory is to protect. My virtue is sacrifice.
My curiosity is satisfied.
For your sins, I will allow you to seek the knowledge.
Have the courage to do what's right and not what's written.
And God's rest will be trampled underfoot by the heretics until the times of the harbingers are fulfilled.
We've gotten through this before. We can do it again.
You've got this.
One more time.
Previously, as the Bronze Scales seek out powerful boons and artifacts needed to fight the Eternal Harbingers, or Bringers, they sailed into the storm wall of Gaethalt. Fighting past the Guardian Serpent, they sunk with their destroyed ship deep below the Vral Sea. Here they came to in the deep, upon the scaled tail of a massive serpent in dark waters. Following its length, they came upon a massive and ancient ship of galvanized stone. Upon it, they found the skeletal bodies of Voltars and serpent-like creatures from a battle long ago. While searching the celestial ship, they were attacked by a snake creature, the sound of its defeat alerting Ursatha. The massive creature, an eyeless serpent, arose from the depths its length, looping and circling all around them. Speaking to it, Ellory decided to help remove one of the bindings keeping Ursatha locked here. Reaching out with arcing electricity, she drew in the ethos power of a massive javelin, breaking it apart. With a binding broken, Ursatha allowed the bronze scales into its massive jaws, where they found a temple. Delving into the ancient metal, past the murals depicting Ursatha's origin, they came into a chamber with a strange puzzle lock. Upon manipulation of the lock, they were attacked by serpent creatures which formed from light. Through spell and metal, the scales fought back. We come back to the story here. After fighting the Cobra Prince and his thralls, you all cut the escape of a serpent witch. After a few moments, no new threats arrived. The bodies of the creatures suddenly began to shift to glowing dim yellow light, before fading away, being drawn back to the golden eye door. This circular door is made of a knot of golden serpents, with a singular eye in the center. As the light withdraws, it leaves you in a darkened and silent room. with, I presume, the storm slowly fading away. What would you like to do?
So, do you think more of those are going to pop out as soon as we move another one of these pedestals?
I don't know. Why don't we find out? Assuming everyone is ready and prepared and all.
As will ever be.
Vesper, I wouldn't mind a bandage before we start.
Yeah, I'm hurting a little.
I think we all are. Yeah, let's do that.
Do we have time for a short rest?
I don't want to wait that long, but if Vesper can tie up a few of these wounds, I think I'd be okay.
Yeah. I think I used a healer's kit on myself last time, so I think I'm the only one who can't get patched up by that. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4 more of us, so I will take out the healer's kit I brought along, and everyone gains... Let's see. Should I just roll 1d6 for everything? Or should I roll it for each person?
What is that for? Your extra healing?
Yeah, it's the healer feat, so I'm using a healer's kit to patch everybody up a little bit.
That's up to you. Just stick to it, whichever one you decide.
Right,
So
I'm going to roll just one then.
Okay.
Not amazing. That is 2 plus 4. So 6 plus, we're level 12, so 18 hit points back to everybody.
Gracias.
De nada.
That puts me at 69 hit points. Thank you.
Oh, you are most welcome.
Nice.
So, I'm going to move up closer to this
Same.
lock again.
I have no sight. I just see me. I don't know what happened. I could see last time.
Dark vision.
The light withdrew. The snake bodies on the ground dispersed into yellow light and then was drawn back into the eye in the doorway before that light dispersed entirely. It's dark now.
Okay. Can I cast light then on my holy symbol? I'm doing that. I'm casting light on my holy symbol.
I'm sure he's probably just trying to get you the light.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
If I'm understanding how this works correctly, Ball, could you shift this one in the lower corner up?
Yeah, Ball will help you do some moving.
I am going to help try and shove this thing into place just so I feel like I'm useful.
All right, Ball, you want to give me an athletics check?
That's a 20.
Yeah, so your ball moves up with Vesper's holy symbol lighting the room once more. Ball approaches the pedestal and grabs it. A moment or two goes by. Nothing seems to change. Still dark.
Okay.
All right.
Think we can keep going with this then.
Yep. So that bottom one, right next to the open space.
Do you want me to roll another athletics check?
Yes, please.
21.
You can shift it over. Moment or two goes by. Nothing seems to occur.
Okay. I think that middle one needs to come down then.
That's what I was thinking as well.
While they're doing this, can Felix fly back up and check out the, like, you said there were a bunch of crap on a table or something?
Yeah, at the top of the ramp, there was an altar with a bunch of things on it.
He will leave Aeon down here, and he'll fly back up, because he still has his boots.
Okay. So as you fly up inward or upwards, you begin to notice something in the air ahead, like this strange fog made of light that's slowly drifting down, like it's heavy. Do you fly into it?
That's probably bad. I will shout down, scary looking fog, I'm going to check it out. And I'll float into it very gingerly. I'll stick my hand into it first.
Okay. So it's about 2/3 of the way down from the top. Has a little ways to go before it reaches into the base where everyone else is. Sticking your hand inside, it's slightly warm, but not a heat. Almost like when you cut your finger and have been cooking with spicy jalapenos. And at first it's just kind of a tingling, but then it begins to burn. Take 4 points of poison damage.
We are still protected from poison as far as I know, so that
down
should
to
be
2.
Great. I'll shout down to them, poison coming. About how far am I from wherever the crab is?
It is maybe 35 feet or so from you, something like that.
Cool. As they're continuing to do the puzzle, I'm going to try and go for it. So I'll let you resolve what you need to.
Okay, so as you rush in, Ball, are you pushing the next pedestal?
Yeah, Ball will look to Ellory and Amson for guidance on to which pedestal to move and where. And when he gets the okay, kind of like waits for the nod and then continues.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
Vesper will
drag
hold
this-
her breath, so I'm not going to be helping.
Drag the center one down.
Another athletics check.
15.
Okay. This one you struggle with initially, kind of slamming on it. It doesn't seem to budge at first, but it seems to break through some of the dust or grime or whatever's in here, and eventually you get it to slide down. At this point, Ellory, you notice it first, but some of you can just start to see the mist is kind of rolling into the top edge of Vesper's light. And it's kind of beginning to enter into this base.
Okay, let's hurry this up. Amson, the one up top should come down next?
Yes, that one.
Another athletics.
Quick question. We're not still blessed, are we? Because I remember making a note from last time.
Oh, yeah, it's 24 hours.
Help with that.
But,
Yeah,
right.
Okay, I always forget what okay, so
It's attacks and saves.
I attack the block with my strength athletically.
What was your
Or
roll?
a 10. It's a 10.
This time, as you begin to pull it into place, this one is giving you trouble. Some of the grime or whatever is built up in there is keeping you from being able to do so. At this point, the mist is rolling in, and it's maybe about 10 feet above the ground. It's just at Ball's head, and in another couple seconds, it'll be all around you guys. As you are moving to try again, we'll flash back to Felix, who you quickly dart into the room, taking 1 more point of poison damage, flying quickly up to the altar.
I'm just going to open up my backpack and scoop it all in.
Okay. There is a lot of gems. There's a dagger. There's a medallion. There's a small glass ring. There's also a bunch of coins. With 1 scoop, you get 95% of it.
Good enough.
Do you stay to get the rest?
Is the shiny ring one of the things I missed? The glass
No,
one?
you got the ring, medallion, the dagger, and most of the gems.
Yeah, if I've got most of it, and it's mostly like coins and gems, I'm gonna book it.
Okay. So you begin to head back down, taking 3 more poison damage on your way back down, Felix, but you're able to kind of get below the line of this poisonous fog. And it's strange. It's almost like light. It has weight and almost physical material to it, as it is like a curtain dropping down upon you. So you're able to get out of it for this turn. And we kind of cut back. You're all together now at the base.
I cast guidance on Ball this time. So
Are
that's
you
an
attempting
extra-
again?
Yeah, I'll attempt again. Guidance
That's an
gives me
extra
1d4,
D4.
right? Okay, perfect.
Ellory, what do you do for guidance? What does that look like?
So normally I would grab the locket dangling from my neck, but it's currently, I can't remember if I said it was under a glove or wrapped up somehow against my hand. So I hold on to that, and I kind of visualize tossing the the lodestone up and letting it fall back into the palm of my hand, just seeing that in my mind as I reach forward and touch Ball. And I think there's just like a little almost like a zap of static electricity that goes from my fingertip to him.
And then Ball rolls a 21.
Okay, with that static of electricity jolting your muscles, and maybe whatever grime was holding this in place, it shifts down that pedestal into place. At this point, the mist has fallen all the way down, and everyone takes 2 points of poison damage, reduced to 1 if you're resistant.
Everyone should still be. With the poison on us, I'm going to cast Enlarge on Ball, so he'll have advantage on all the checks.
And he goes for him, that doubles the height, right?
Correct.
So Ball is now 20 foot tall and several tons in weight, looming over these pedestals.
At this point, Ball is a pedestal.
Ball's like 4 of them.
He picks them up like chess pieces.
That yellow fog and mist is all around you. What are you guys doing?
Okay, Ball, this one. Move this one over.
Another athletics check.
A 21.
You shift over with ease with your enlarged size, one-handing it. You guys take another 1 point of poison damage.
It's on our skin, right? So it doesn't matter if we're breathing it or not.
Yeah, it seems that the strange light mist itself, the contact is what's doing it.
Mustard gas kind of.
I rolled a 24 on my concentration.
Okay.
Okay, Ball, just 2 more.
22.
Up with ease. 3 points of poison damage to everyone.
Okay, just this one in the center has to move again.
That's an 11.
Ball, you grab this last one that would complete this strange puzzle lock.
I will use my last flash of genius to tell him, no, lift with your legs, not your back, and give him +5.
Okay, struggling as the poison begins to set in, you listen to Felix and are able to shift the last pedestal. With each one in place, take a final 2 points of poison damage as you hear you see each of the pedestals, these 8, kind of sink in slightly, just a few inches down. You see the light of the eye coming from the door, a knot of golden snakes to shift and appear from the doorway, illuminating this room once more. There's a sudden, as all of this strange fog, yellow mist is drawn back towards the eye, removing the poison. You see this circular doorway with the central eye, these serpents nodding all around as they slowly begin to shifting, serpentining, these welded metal golden snakes, withdrawing, shifting, turning. Slowly, this knot of the circular door begins to unfold and shift away into the sides of the wall. Go ahead.
As this is happening, I move up to stand directly in front of this door.
And as the knots begin to undo and slide away, the eye floating, glowing in the center, would look like maybe just a flat circle is revealed to be a sphere, an eye, glowing, floating in the center where it remained, where it always was, until all of the knot of golden shimmering snakes are removed. And beyond the eye, you see a dark room. You see old stone, not like what you've been standing on. Looks scarcely even worked. Looks natural. This kind of cliff edge that juts out into this room. This room with no walls or ceiling or floor that you can see. No light source. Just vast void, empty.
Can I move up next to Ellory and see if my light goes into it?
Moving up, allowing your light to kind of spread into this void, you see immediately it dims against some force there. what light does penetrate through doesn't go far, and it doesn't reveal anything more than just a few more feet of the ledge. You can see now, though, thanks to that, the glint of something metal at the end of it. Something maybe 6 feet long, 3 or 4 feet tall, golden. It's like a rectangle, a box, an altar.
Well, let's keep moving. Vesper, stick close, will you?
Definitely.
I don't know how this all is going to work, but I might need you.
I'm right here. I'll take her hand.
I'll give her hand a squeeze, but then let go and start walking forward.
And I'll stay right by her.
As you move forward, you see an altar revealed. Simple, moderate decorations, simple swirls, strange symbols you don't recognize. It's quiet on the edge of this cliff, over the void, over nothing. The altar's empty, except for one knife.
Okay. I think I know what this knife is for. I'm going to pick up the knife. What does it look like?
As you lift up the knife, it's simple. Looks to be made of iron. It's old. Where the blade meets the handle, there's a circle. The circle is cut out. You can see through it, but there's some strange shape, symbol, something in between. And as you lift it up, there's a sudden burst of light from the void beyond this wall-less, dimensionless room. An eye, golden, a viper slit. You all, especially Ellory, suddenly feel a presence, a force in your minds. Though no sound comes, the eye looks upon you all, the slit darting back and forth, finally settling on Ellory before you start to see more and more of tiny eyes opening up like the stars of some night sky, some cursed black sky, all around you, above you and below you, beyond you. They're gazing upon you, watching, observing. And you all hear a voice, but not audibly. It's a feeling, almost like in your mind, but it's like a tingle that crawls up the back of your spine from the small of your back, working through your shoulders into the medulla of your skull.
Who are you?
A stranger from before. You don't remember me. Beautiful.
I think Ellory kind of stands there looking at this eye and then looks down at the knife in her hand.
Ellory?
Yeah.
Do you have any... I know this is going to sound weird out of context. Do you have any alcohol?
Yeah, I think there's something in my flask.
Okay. Take a
Oh,
drink.
wait, no, I wouldn't have brought that with me.
Let me see the knife for a moment.
I'll hold it out towards her, but I'm not going to actually hand it to her.
Felix is raising a bottle of wine, so I'll beckon him forward if he can give that to Ellory. I'm going to go into my healer's kit and take the ethanol and just wipe the blade down. For doing this, it's going to be sanitary.
Yes, this ancient, dark, cursed blade is now clean.
Yep. And just have Ellory take a drink of alcohol before she does this. Help numb it a little bit.
Yeah, I look kind of doubtful about the wine being much help, but I will still go ahead and take a drink.
I mean, Felix doesn't fuck around. It's good wine.
I feel like she takes a swig and Vesper's like, no, and tips it back up and makes her drink more.
And I'll look back up at this eye and not at the chat. I'll look up at this eye and say, and if I give you my eye, I'll get the knowledge that I need?
Yes. Just as Father petitioned me.
All right. So I'm going to lift this knife up to my face and kind of look at Vesper. Any tips for me?
Keep your hands steady. Don't go too
Right.
deep, or you'll hit your brain. And then we'll need a lot more than cure wounds to fix this. Do you want me to do it? Should I do it, or should it just be you?
Will you help guide my hand?
I can do that. And I'll set one hand on the back of her head, and then take her hand and just help make sure
Okay.
she gets it clean.
I'm not going to make Ellory roll wisdom saves against the fear of trying to overcome and do this, nor constitution saves against the pain of doing this. But as you're getting through this gruesome task, what thought do you cling to get you through it? We'll skip over some of the gore and just get to what gets you through this.
The thought that I keep in my mind, it's really two thoughts. One is that this is a worthwhile price if it helps to save the world. The world is more important than my eye. And the second thought is that I could do a whole lot worse than to follow in the footsteps of the goddess I serve.
Okay. So as you do this, the pain is white hot, stinging, burning. But you fight through it, clinging to the world. All of your friends and family, Embershore, Nymunet, Orzana, everyone, Ezekiel. And you clench your teeth and you bite down and you bear down and you fight through it. And you feel a little bit of a spark. And although your eyes are clenched, but you can feel something surging in you. The same energy you felt when you drew it in from the javelin, releasing that binding. The rest of you, Vesper, and the other scales can see this blue lightning that kind of rolls over her arm and her back and her hair. Just kind of from the exertion. Some of the glow, that blue glow coming from the eye as you remove it. As you do so, it floats out of your hand, unwillingly, and into the void to join the rest. The pain's still there, but it begins to pulse, to subside, to be less constant. And then there's a second wave, and this one almost knocks you out. Vesper helps you keep to your feet. The jolting of that electrical energy helps ground you, almost subconsciously flexes your muscles and legs to keep you standing. As something slithers out and onto the ground, a serpent, eyeless, turning, coiling, writhing before it rights itself and understands, orients direction, and looks up at you, Ellory. It coils back into a striking position as you kind of blink through the blood and the tears and the pain, and you see it strikes out towards you. Before it hits you, it disappears.
As soon as it's gone, I'm dropping her hand and I'm pressing mine to her eye and I'm casting Cure Wounds.
Okay.
At like second level.
Yeah. And as Vesper is healing you somewhat, Ellory, you feel something. You feel that energy. You can almost flex your hands and arms and feel that roll across you. Like it's a part of you.
I think Ellory at this point can't really speak. But I'm just going to reach out for Vesper's other hand, drop the knife.
Take it. You get 15 hit points back from that heal. I'm
And
just going to
Ellory,
steady her
yeah.
against the altar a little bit.
As Vesper is steadying you and healing, the blood coming to a stop, slowing from a trickle, Ellory can hear very distantly, like whispers. And you can hear words in them. You can hear whispers of another sort from the void, from these eyes. And you can almost make out the words. You feel wind at your back, sourceless, almost lifting you up, making you lighter. And there's a sudden perception. You know where you are. You know, you can sense tears in this dimension. You can sense portals nearby. The first of which being right behind you, the doorway.
I kind of tilt my head as I'm listening to these whispers as if if I strain my ears enough, that will help me hear and understand them better. And then I turn to look at the doorway behind me, where I can feel this. Where are we?
We're in a giant fucking snake.
Temple inside Ursatha.
No, we're somewhere else.
Vesper's gonna go, like, Hamson, can I have your jacket? I think she's in shock.
Oh, yeah, sure. And he'll take it off and give it to her.
Wrap it around Ellory.
I think we got what we came for. I think it's time to go.
And I'll ask her the basic, hey, are you in shock questions, like, who's in charge of Embershore? What's the name of the guy in charge of the Norval Tread? Like, whatever.
What are all of our names?
Embershore, the fucking Covenant.
Yeah. Okay, she's fine. But the basic, keep making sure she's not in shock kind of questions.
Does anyone know how to get us out of here?
Same way we got in.
I start moving towards the door.
Imagine we could probably find our way back if we get back to that rock on the surface.
Well, first we have to get out of the snake.
You're able to leave this void room, the eyes all dissipating at once, back into the base of the temple. You work your way up the ramps, past the old murals, up past the altar where there's a few scattered coins remaining, and to that door, still open. Go ahead.
I just pause for a moment, looking at the murals, especially stopping in front of the one that shows Ursatha coming out from Voltimary's eye socket.
Before we leave the temple, I really want to bandage Ellory's eye. I know I cast some wound closing, but we're about to go into salt water. I want to do whatever I can and just bandage it and keep it clean.
While they're doing that, Felix will scoop the remainder of the coins and gems into his bag.
Ellory, are you all right?
I think so. I feel strange, but I think I'm okay. This is gonna take some getting used to.
I'm gonna hold up my hand next to the left side of her head and go, how many fingers am I holding up?
Oh, fuck you. Hey, what do you think? Does it make me look dashing?
Oh, definitely. If you'd left a scar, that would have been even better. Sorry I was so precise.
Come on, let's go. And we will continue out the way that we came in, I guess.
So you guys continue up the ramps past the altar, Felix scooping up the last of them after Vesper wraps up Ellory's one eye, the bandage, having some blood leaking through, but the healing stopping it enough. Vesper, as you're doing this, being face to face with her, you notice her other eye begins to develop. The pupil begins to elongate, to sharpen, forming a viper eye on the other eye. But you are able to exit this golden temple, slightly shifted, tilting to one side, sunken in the gullet of Ursatha. You guys can continue to swim through this tunnel, dark, only lit by Vesper's holy symbol glowing, as you begin to head towards its mouth once more. Up ahead, the light begins to shade into the back of a tongue. You see the fangs as you arrive back to the mouth of the creature. It opens, jaw unclenching wide, to release you back into the ocean once more. Drifting in that dark void, a few beams of yellow light shading all around, you find yourself back on that galvanized stone, the tail wrapping around it, looping the length of Ursatha back into the depths.
Yeah, as soon as we're out, I'm going to turn around to look up at Ursatha again. And I think I'm just going to kind of stand there and look at this enormous serpent for a moment. Well, I think I found what I came for. And you have what you wanted from me.
One step closer. Its mouth forms what you can only describe as a smile. This eyeless serpent as it begins to withdraw into the depths.
Maybe we'll meet again someday.
Leaving you on this galvanized stone, still being held by the end of its tail.
All right. It's kind of weird being down here. It's almost hard to feel which way is up. Let's get back to the surface. And I will start swimming.
So you guys swim upwards.
Yep. Unless people want to do some more exploring.
As we go up, is there anything left of that ship? Or did it all crumble?
You don't immediately see it around you. You could try to follow the tail and find it again, but you don't immediately see it.
I'm not going to waste time on it. But if we see any of the skulls of the blue glass skulls, I'd want to stop for that.
Swimming upward, 15, 30 minutes swimming up. You get to where you can no longer see the tail, though the darkness remains. Those sourceless yellow beams of light still remain. You don't see any surface or feel any rumbling. You continue.
So back in that dark space, I could feel a portal in the doorway behind us. Do I feel anything now?
You can sense north to your left, but no, well, now it's behind you. No portal, but the shifting of which direction is north seems to be changing intermittently. You remember the lodestone being tossed around as you neared the storm. You'll continue to travel.
Yes, I think so.
Another hour of swimming goes by. No immediate changes. How long do y'all have water breathing?
24 hours from when I cast it.
Okay, so I'll have a while. For the sake of time, as you guys continue to swim up, another 2 hours go by before you start to notice rumblings above. You can sense the pressure You can feel the currents begin to be violent, twisting, churning above, as you can sense you're coming closer and closer towards the surface.
Is it just me, or does it feel like it was longer coming up than it was going down?
No, it's definitely taken us a lot longer.
Well, we fell in a giant boat last time. Didn't we? Or did we swim? I don't remember. I watched a snake come out of your head.
Yeah, things are a little bit weird, aren't they? I'm not going to try to make too much sense out of anything right now.
Well, I'm getting awfully tired, so I've got an idea.
I also have an idea. You tell yours first, and then I'll tell mine.
I've got a spell that can get us to the surface of the water a little bit faster.
I've got a spell that could turn me into a giant octopus. Enough arms to grab all of you.
I mean, you might be a little slowed down if you're grabbing all of us.
That'll speed us up, and I'm not very athletic. In meta, Water Walk can target up to 10 willing creatures. If they are submerged in a liquid, the spell carries the target to the surface of the liquid at a rate of 60 feet per round. So we can just cork up there.
Ooh, yes. That sounds awesome.
I feel like I actually probably would have cast that much sooner, because, again, I have an 8 strength, and I'm not a strong swimmer. And I hate being in water, so...
Vesper and Amson absolutely, by like 20 minutes in, we're like...
yeah, we're like, no, I don't want to do this anymore.
This sucks.
Yeah, it probably would have been much sooner than 2 hours going by.
So do you cast the spell?
I absolutely cast the spell.
Okay, what does it look like?
Last 1 hour. I think...
It's like wings, or...
Yeah, I think it's sort of like the water starts to swirl around and form these, like, almost like Hermes type, like, wings under our feet, like in the water, like. So I usually do like smoke, so it's like these like almost small little whirlpools that look like wind, and they just carry us up.
Okay. So you find yourselves no longer having to struggle against the currents as these bubble wings turning at your feet push and pull you guys up towards the surface at a quick rate. The current is still violent and pushing you from side to side, but the spell's able to force past it as you begin to see, or rather feel, the surface coming up. As you arrive, you landing onto the ground, suddenly finding yourselves have to shift and almost dance upon the water, as the water is not flat. It is massive waves rolling under you, so you find yourselves having to quickly run up this hill of a wave before kind of half sliding down it again under the waves, but you are on the surface of it. You can feel rain pelting down. It's dark. Though you're not in the hurricane that you entered, you do feel it to the side. And Ellory, you can feel a portal in that direction.
I immediately, as soon as I feel the portal, I immediately kind of turn to look in that direction. And I guess I'm looking for any sign. Well, how far away are we?
You're maybe half a mile from the hurricane, something like that.
Vesper, can you send a message to Gas, let him know that we're out?
I can't. Sort of prepared for underwater stuff. And I didn't think about sending a message.
Because I have to be a whole lot closer before I can.
If we wait overnight, I could definitely do this.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. Let's get moving.
Mm-hmm.
From where we are, do I have an idea of where the island is?
You're not sure. You can roll a perception check if you want to look around.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
That's at disadvantage because you just have one eye.
That's fair. That, with the disadvantage, makes it a natural one.
The rain pelts into your one remaining eye. You can tell where the hurricane wall is, but beyond that, you're not sure.
Let's head towards the storm, and then we can figure out from there. Keep an eye out for the island while we're going.
How long does water walk last?
Lasts for 1 hour.
Okay. So you guys walk.
I can recast it later if we need to.
So you guys walk for about 20 minutes or so towards the hurricane, and you can. The closer you get, the choppier and the worse the waters get. But you get close enough to where you're within 300 feet or so, to where you know exactly where the hurricane is. If two people want to look around for an island, you certainly can.
I'll give it a shot.
The
perception?
Yeah, perception.
Is anyone better at perception? I have a +4.
Natural 20,
Not
26.
Cool. Oh, hey. Okay, 21.
Okay. You guys are looking. It's hard through the dark rains and having to run up and down these hills of these waves, sometimes slipping and sliding this way and that. Felix, you see at first a glint of light. This bluish green light as you kind of round one of the higher waves towards your right, kind of around the hurricane almost. You can see it is kind of bounding up and down, moving in the same way you are moving up and down upon the waves.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can see the island. Ellory, do we need to get there?
That would probably be the best next stop.
Hey, since it's rather stormy, maybe we should tie ourselves together just to make sure we stay in a unit.
I could still become an octopus.
I can work on that.
All right, I'll lead.
Okay. So you guys move along the waves, running over them and down and up again for another 20 or so minutes as you begin to see the light Felix spoke of. Looks like it's at the head of a ship. You see a few more lights dimly as it is sort of floating, riding the waves up and down, and it's not docked. Docking next to anything hard would be futile in these waters, but it seems to be anchored near an island. You can see the silhouette of a structure. As you move towards it, it does appear to be the island you're familiar with. There's a few people on the ship moving this way and that, under heavy cloaks, trying to keep the rain off of them. Eventually making your way to the island, climbing up of it, finally off these shifting waters. You can see a few people noticing you and coming out from the temple.
I am looking for any sign of Gath having returned here.
Okay. As you look around, these people are kind of, some have their jaws open, some are whispering this way and that. As you see Gath kind of pushing through this very small crowd. There's just a few people to see you.
I walk up to him.
He kind of meets you halfway. Well, shit. You did it.
Looks like I did.
You gotta say I didn't expect it, but...
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
A lot of people tried before you. Most didn't make it.
I know.
And you made record time. Let's get you out of the rain. Come on. He kind of pulls you guys back into this shelter. It's hard not to be wet even under the shelter, but at least you're not being constantly soaked by rain. As you find a bit of cover, there's a few small fires that are lit, trying to keep some heat in this place that you guys kind of gather around to keep warm, rubbing your hands together. What'd you find down there?
Well, found Ursatha. He's still bound, but not as securely as before.
Well, we all knew it was going to ask a dirty favor, but Altamari did it. He's looking at your eye now, both the one removed, and then you can see him glancing at your other eye as well, furrowing his brow. I can see you made a similar deal.
Yeah. I knew there was going to be a price to pay.
There hasn't been someone that's done this in a long time. I suppose this makes you salted now.
Ellory the Salted. I think there's a lot I'm going to have to get used to.
Yeah, well, there's nothing formal about it. But, we'll get you something. So everyone knows where you've been. I know y'all have been through a lot. I hope one day, maybe when all this settles down, you can tell some of the others, some of the wanderers, what was down there, what you found, what you overcome.
Yeah. I don't necessarily want to encourage anyone to go down there without dire need. But if somebody has to, then I can help them know what to expect.
I think they'll be glad just to hear the story. Suppose y'all be heading back.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd better.
Well, you want to sail the long way around, or shall we go through the storm?
I grinned when he asked the question. Let's go through the storm.
Yeah, I thought so. And, just like many times before, Ellory, that you've done this, he's done this two ways. One way the first couple times when you jumped in before really begin training, but most of the time you travel from this old temple here, below. It's kind of near where the ship is, underneath the cover, towards the other end of the island. There's almost a well as Gath leads you down, kind of spirals down. All along the spiral, there's outcroppings where you can kind of stand to the side, retrieve water as the water levels rise and fall. But as you get to the water level, you see that swirl circling. Blue energy, crackling, wind. Well, jump in.
And I will look at the others, grinning. This is going to be fun. And I will jump in.
Okay. And as Ellory and I presume everyone else jumps in.
I share a long-suffering look with Felix, and rather than jump in, just sort of step off the edge and into it.
Amson plugs his nose before jumping in.
Ball kind of looks around, sees everyone go in, shrugs, jumps in as well.
Everybody leaping in, one after the other slamming into this cold water. You find yourselves turned upside down or disoriented, kind of falling back as you kind of slide onto the ground, falling out of the air, looking around to find yourselves back in the temple, back in Nymunet, soaked to the bone, cold. Gath, a moment later, jumps out as well, landing nearby, followed by a few others as some of the wanderers and the worshippers of Voltimary begin to come out. And as you get to your feet and decide what to do and where to go next, we'll go ahead and take a short break.
Next time on Back to the Story.
So we all rest, and Vesper gets her bath, and we are nice and cozy and robes with a pile of loot on the floor. Do we risk setting out for the dream, or do we stay and wait for Hex?
You lean up and find yourself on grass, surrounded by a forest. Bright leaves of golds and oranges and reds, and the trees above and scattered, covering the ground.
This episode is continued in Part 2, which uploads Friday and will be available wherever you're listening now. For behind the scenes and more, check out our Tumblr, back-to-the-story at tumblr.com, and follow us on Twitter for updates at back_to_the story. And if you're feeling especially generous, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory. We'll see you next time in Norithil.